The negative team has provided literally no reason for why an assault weapon ban would be bad. You should err affirmative if you think there's even a risk of offense. The negative simply isn't winning enough of a solvency takeout for you to vote negative on presumption. We have multiple arguments indicating that an assault rifle ban would be beneficial. One is that arguments about how other guns are just as lethal are false. The A is that assault rifles are generally easier to use, more accurate because they have a more stable shooting platform, have higher capacity magazines, and are much more lethal than handguns. This is a conceded MG argument. The B is that most conservative estimates are that assault weapons are responsible for about 48 murders per year. Some of those 48 shootings may not have been fatal if the shooter had used a handgun instead. C is that if even one life would have been saved as a consequence of the assault weapon ban, you vote affirmative. Their claims about a lack of statistical significance don't function when the app has a risk of a net benefit under an offense-defense paradigm. The 2 is that the studies that they cite are at least 10 years old. A is that their studies don't account for the fact that mass shootings have more than doubled since the 1994 federal assault weapon ban expired. This argument has been conceded since the PMC. The B is that this means there's at least a chance that assault weapon ban has some positive effects, especially because assault weapons are more lethal and cause more casualties during mass shootings. The number of deaths at Sandy Hook might have been cut in half if Adam Lanza only had access to pistols with limited capacity magazines instead of semi-automatic rifles. The 3 is that they say assault weapons are impossible to define. A is that they've conceded the MG argument that the gun features that are banned are what make assault weapons more lethal in the first place. For example, pistol grips and telescoping stocks make assault weapons more accurate. The B is that even if gun manufacturers still make high-capacity weapons post-plan, those weapons would at least be less effective compared to the status quo. The 4 is that they say there would be too many guns sold illegally on the secondhand market, but an assault weapon ban would at least make it more difficult for shooters to access these weapons. If a shooter thinks it would be too risky or too much of a hassle to illegally acquire an assault weapon, there's at least a risk they would buy a handgun instead. That's offense because handguns are less lethal.